first of all, congratulations on your impressive 3-0 victory. Going into the match, there was a lot of hype about you versus Deft, but I actually thought most of the tension would be in the top lane. Was that also your expectation?
I think I said in an interview with Fnatic that even though a lot of people are anticipating me and Deft to go like full ham against each other, that's not actually our playstyles. I think both me and Deft are quite like the teamfight AD carries, where we look to farm up as much as possible and then focus on playing teamfights basically. And we have both roaming supports. So my prediction were that the supports would have a huge impact on the series because of the roaming that they possibly could do, which is like a strength of both of them, and also the top lane difference. I feel like regardless of them putting Koro or Amazing J, we would have an advantage. But Koro actually came up surprisingly with like surprising picks today. I mean, he has been showing tanks and Rumble basically in the past, at least when he was playing with the EDG. So we weren't quite sure what to expect, and I still feel like he came with like a new playstyle. I'm not sure if it was like him just flexing up things or him just becoming a new player over the past like 2 months or whatever he had without playing competitively, but. I mean, we have Huni, right? This guy is incredible and has a very, very wide champion pool. So we had I already felt from draft we had quite an advantage going into things, especially as you said in the top lane, because top lane right now is probably the lane that snowballs the hardest. Like mid lane and AD is like field roles basically. You know, you farm for team fight and then you try to play your champion accordingly to what enemy team has and what your team has. Meanwhile, the top lane is just like these guys fight all the time and it can go either way really fast. So. I agree. I think the top lane was like the hugest, had a huge impact on today's series, and I feel like Huni did a very good job.
Speaking of, the game seemed to go, I think, much better in your favor after the big remake. How did you feel during that long pause, and what was kind of your mindset going into the remake?
During the long pause, I wasn't quite sure what to think. In the past, at least, I've been just trying to sit as I sit when I play. But today I felt like I would be really exhausted if I did, because already when we paused, we were already aware of what the bug was. Mm-hmm. So we had quite an idea that this is not fixable, you know. I'm not sure if people heard, but it was like the Gragas Q not being castable. And that's like a huge game impact, you know. So we were quite aware that the pause would be extremely long, because after that we tried once, like 2 minutes into the pause or something, and then it didn't work, and then we just kind of all realized that this is not going to work, and then we just sat there for 25 minutes, right? So I just tried to not keep my head in the game, but not to the point where it would exhaust me. I just tried to keep my cool as a player, and I tried to chill down the guys, just even just put your chair back and just lay down a little bit, or yeah, just keep your cool, because this series, either way of this game being played or not, would still be a long series. So I wanted everyone to be ready for a possible remake, or if we would keep playing that game. And regarding the remake, I feel like it was not bad for us having a remake. I mean, we came into Game 2 showing something totally new that no one has showed yet in the tournament, with opening Gangplank and Mordekaiser on red side, which gave you the possibility of actually banning champions on that side. And we wanted to try it because we had quite success in scrims with it. And I feel like it worked pretty well to a certain extent. I mean, they picked the Mordekaiser, so therefore they had the early game pressure, and we picked the Gangplank, so we had the scaling, and we wanted to go for team fighting. But with the pause coming around, it never really got to that point where we could really show what our comp would do, you know? EDG showed what their comp was possible to do, taking Dragon and trying to push mid and just having constant pressure on 3 lanes. But we didn't necessarily show what our comp do. So that's not really a bad thing going into the future, right? Because we can pull this strategy again, and KT or Ku would still be unaware of what our game idea perhaps was. So there's gives and takes of a series being 3-0 or we being so dominant in the series, because we don't get into the situations which we were in, for example, against Origin, where we were pressured as players and as a team to the extent where the game was 2-2 and you were playing all or nothing basically. Meanwhile, today we were just more comfortably taking it, right? So there's gives and takes, and I think not showing all of our cards is not necessarily a bad thing with the tournament being so long, because we still have strategies to show, you know, and coming up with new strategies in the semifinals must be a huge advantage, right? Because most of the teams probably already showed all they can do. So yeah, there's gives and takes, but I feel pretty confident about our games today.
So I wanted to ask you a little bit about the AD carry picks. Deft came out with a bunch of different things. And at We're Gaming, usually they go for more scaling stuff, but they went for a lot of early game stuff. Were you surprised, and could you tell me a little bit about the Jace AD carry, if you know anything about it?
Actually, somewhere along the line in Summer Split, I tried Jace AD carry a couple of games, like 10 games or so. So I had an idea actually going into things of how strong it was. And people actually think Jace AD carry is like a scaling champ, but how I always saw it when I tried it at least was that Jace AD carry is incredibly strong if you're fighting early game. This guy has like so many more spells than you do, right? So for me, I just like, the second I saw him picking Jace AD carry, because I saw him practicing it in solo queue, I just like, I'm gonna pick something that scales well. And people actually don't think Kennen scales well, but in my opinion, Kennen scales incredibly well by himself. He brings like an extreme amount of utility in teamfights that no other AD carry is able to do. I mean, maybe Ashe, but even Ashe is not like on the same edge as Kennen is. So I just looked to farm in the lane and make sure that once I came around for teamfights, I would be strong enough to do more than him, basically, because Jace could never go in against a Kennen. He could never like use his melee form. So basically all he was doing is EQ, wait 8 seconds and do it again. So I didn't feel like if we were to go to late game, he wouldn't bring like the same amount of gaming impact as me. So I didn't like rush things or anything. I just took it calmly. And regarding the AD picks, I feel like, at least in our preparation, we kind of thought EDG would play like they did in groups. You know, in groups they kind of like had this style where Deft is the main guy in the team, and they make sure that this guy is ahead at all times. If it's jungle pressure, support pressure, TP is coming down, that's their main goal as a team. But I actually felt today they kind of went away from that, left Deft alone and playing other carries that he didn't have so much success on in the past, and actually focused more on getting Koro equal, or making sure that Koro can stay ahead. And I feel like that's one of our strengths, right? Yeah, making sure that Huni gets ahead. So they kind of played into our hands, in my opinion, and I feel like we just played the game that both teams played better. So I'm not sure exactly how they came to that conclusion to play that sort of style, but I mean, I think for myself, at least, me playing utility AD carries, I feel really comfortable in it, but I'm not sure how comfortable Deft felt today.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and good luck.
Thanks a lot.
Be sure to download our app, available on the iOS App Store and the Google Play Store, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content.